Hello, guys. Happy Halloween edition here of Out of Turn 4. Apologize, the hair's a little messy. Just got out of work. So we are going to record this episode right now. Coming up on the show. Oh boy, it's been a busy week between Martinsville, IndyCar, NASCAR. Big news all dropped this weekend. As well as some playoff developments. We are headed into the Championship 4 as we are here with our second to last episode of the season. Man, I can't believe we've hit that point. But it is our second to last episode of this season before we take our winter break for no racing. And I know there's going to be many that say, oh, but Formula One is still on. Well, we cover real motor racing here. Take that how you will. But, and I'd love to cover some more IMSA, but I gotta find time to get into it. It's just, it is so difficult with my schedule, guys, and my schedule's only going to get busier. But with that, let's talk, NASCAR at Martinsville. Justin Allgaier wins what was a wild Xfinity race at Martinsville. And I mean wild. I mean, this was by far, in my opinion, the best weekend, or the best race of the weekend for Xfinity. Best race of the weekend. And Cup came close. Cup had its own drama, but my God, the Xfinity guys put on a show. It looked like for a while, oh, it's going to be Austin Hill. Then it looked like, oh, it's going to be Sheldon Creed. And we come down to overtime. No one made it 5 laps without wrecking each other. But we get down to the overtime finish. Creed bumps Austin Hill a few times, tries to get ahead of him. Now, mind you, if Sheldon Creed wins and Austin Hill finishes second, Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed both make the Championship 4. Something that I think Richard Childress neglected to tell his drivers. So again, no one told them if Creed wins and Hill finishes second that they both make the Championship 4 and Custer goes home. We get to the last lap there, and we have not just a bump and run, but a straight up brake check by Sheldon Creed out of 4. Again, trying to avoid the wall, but many people just thinking, he brake checked out of anger. And of course, Justin Allgaier wins by a fender to punch his ticket into the Championship 4 and ultimately not just eliminate Sheldon Creed, but he eliminated Austin Hill as well with that win. And of course, Chandler and Sammy Smith both eliminated. And man, this had vibes from last year with Brandon Jones and Ty Gibbs, except both RCR cars didn't make it. There should be a Tinkle on this moment. On Out of Turn 4. I didn't think we'd have to talk about Tinkle on this on Out of Turn 4, but man, what do I say about this? I mean, besides best race of the weekend, Hill got upset at Creed. Creed's like, I'm over it. I'm out the door after this race, and I can't wait to announce my plans. Hill then goes and spoils the plans, which everybody knew Sheldon Creed was going to Richard Childress Racing, but, of course, Austin Hill confirms it in the most angry fashion. Man, I'll tell you, Richard Childress is just... The only thing I can take from this race is Richard Childress Racing is a toxic work environment for the drivers. Because Sheldon, gets yelled at by Andy Petrie post-race again. Drivers should have known the situations. I get this is Xfinity, but you should know the situations. Okay? I know the drivers shouldn't know it off the top of their heads, but I think the team should have relayed it and said, hey, we're coming to overtime. Hill, if you want to help the company, you got to let Creed by. And then we can both race in the championship for. Or you can take the glory and go off to win, but then Creed's eliminated. But, my God, like, you know, then Richard Childress comes out, and going ahead now, of course, after the race, of course, Richard Childress goes on to say, I've never had a dumber driver than Sheldon Creed. I can't believe he would forget Brian Scott. He had Brian Scott for years in Xfinity, and all that guy did was tear up his equipment. You know, he's had Ty Dillon, his grandson. I can name a few drivers dumber. Man, like I said, Sheldon didn't do anything dumb besides the brake check. But like I said, Brian Scott, John Wes Townley, rest in peace to him, but boy, he was dumb. You know, man, who was that? Who was that one sponsored by Applebee's? Joe Graff Jr. Because Joe Graff Jr. was another dumb one that he had. Man, I can't think of the guy. There was one guy who used to drive the Applebee's car for them. And he was pretty dumb himself. But, again, my God, like, Creed is a smart driver. I mean, just made some dumb moves and costed himself a win, but cost himself a playoff spot. But, you know, it's a shame to see Chandler and Sammy Smith go home. Chandler didn't look good all day, and I think he had an issue at the end. Then Sammy was up there. I thought he was going to have a chance. He looked good, but just not enough, unfortunately. But Sammy Smith has a lot to look forward to. He's going to be taking over the number 8 for Junior Motorsports next year. So, like I said, the only surprise is that Austin Hill didn't make it. That's the surprise. But moving on to the Cup race, all I can say is just wow with that whole race. Thought the Cup race would live up to even greater hype than that, and the Cup Series just, I wouldn't say it disappointed. I would say it's the best short track race they've had since the new package came in. But Ryan Blaney, he muscles his way to the win at Martinsville, and he is the last driver to punch his ticket into Phoenix. William Byron does as well. And that means Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher, Martin Truex Jr., and Tyler Reddick are all eliminated from the playoffs. I'm not really surprised that much. I'm more surprised Truex went home because Truex was my pick. I'm shocked. I'm not shocked Hamlin's gone home, but Hamlin had by far his best race at Martinsville in the last few years, so I think there's positives to take from it for Denny fans, but I'm not going to stop ripping on him, guys. I'm sorry, you know. He's become the Dallas Cowboys of NASCAR, except the difference is he has no rings. So, well, actually, yeah, he just has no rings, so. But, I'm just looking real quick. Of course, we're in the Denny Hamlin cycle, and I gotta steal this from NASCAR memes, but, this is essentially the Denny Hamlin cycle. And yeah, we're right there. And I saw people like defending him, saying he doesn't choke. He's never choked other than 2010. It's all his team, Come on, dude. He choked. He's proving that not just him, but his entire team is just a team of hacks, dude. I mean, I wouldn't even call this one a choke. It's just nothing went his way. I mean, at the end, who would have predicted that long stretch to lead us to the finish? I mean, I half expected a caution, and instead we get Chase Elliott, we get, oh man, Corey LaJoie and others who are leading, pitting with 10 to go, and Byron moved up to like 14th or something like that. And again, Byron needed to finish 18th or better if Hamlin took second. Hamlin, I think, got third against Almirola. Just couldn't get to Almirola in time. But like I said, I don't think anyone could have predicted that race to go green the entire time. So, I will say it's not an excuse, but no one predicted it. Because this, Martinsville race the last few years has been, the most dramatic race. So, I'll give them that. No one could have predicted that. Of course, you're racing the guys who are not good on fuel mileage. And Byron was going to pass those guys unless a caution came out and a pit stop happened. Another thing I couldn't have predicted, Martin Truex speeding on pit road. That one I was shocked with. But I knew once that happened, his day was over. No one was really able to pass. It was tough. I mean, it was just old-fashioned short track racing. I know Hamlin was also mad at Logano at the end and mad at Blaney, but not for nothing. I mean, you two have had history the last race, Hamlin and Blaney, and Hamlin kind of stirred it up. The only thing I took issue with in that whole thing was Hamlin trying to take out Blaney. Come on, you have a lot to lose too, bud. I don't know. I will say Blaney had a fantastic save, but my God, you can't make the Final Four that way. And to me, if he had wrecked Blaney out, he should have been suspended like Kyle Busch when he wrecked Ron Hornaday years ago. I would have vouched for that. Now, Logano plowing Gibbs, who plowed into the back of Hamlin. I mean, I can't say that Ty Gibbs hasn't had it coming. And I'm so glad it's on the end of Logano there. But Logano, I mean, now, if he plowed Denny Hamlin and Hamlin wrecked out, that would be a different story. Then I'd probably be like, okay, at some point, let it go till next season. I mean, you don't need to race. Why are you racing Denny? Again, you're trying to help your teammate out. And, you should help your teammate out. But not wrecking the guy that your teammate has to race. I mean, help your teammate by blocking. Help your teammate by, making it a difficult pass like Larson had to do with Hamlin toward the end of that race. You just make the pass difficult. You don't wreck him. You just make it difficult for him to get the pass, to get the lead, and to go from there. Or to get the position and go from there. That's all you got to do. But overall, not really surprised. I thought Buescher would be a spoiler in this race. It just didn't materialize, although the Fords, at one point, I mean, it looked like the Fords had really good long-run speed because, I mean, once Blaney ran down Hamlin and took the lead, I mean, it just looked like at that point in Stage 2, Blaney just took over. Blaney took over. It looked like Briscoe at points was better than Hamlin. I'd say Briscoe probably had the second best car all day. Keselowski had a strong car, which I thought, man, Buescher, if he can just get up there, he's going to be one to watch too. And Buescher it never materialized for him. It's unfortunate, but quite a run for RFK, and I applaud them. It's a great year for them. I think a lot of improvements in Brad's hard work there is starting to show. So, Truex, I'm surprised, but not. Because he's been flirting with that cut line all 3 rounds. He really didn't deserve to advance. That's all I can say is he just didn't deserve to advance, and he proved it there. Reddick, that one I'm a little surprised about, but not enough to be like, because I didn't think he was going to beat Denny. I didn't think he was going to beat Truex, but I thought, he could play spoiler too. I thought, him and Buescher could have played spoiler. Hamlin and Truex are shocking. I mean, and Hamlin really did put his best foot forward, but again, the race did not fall in his favor. But don't worry, next year's his fucking year. Denny fans, just enjoy it. Look, Denny fans, just got nothing more to say to you. Just, this is your reality, is that this man is never going to win a title. There's always going to be an obstacle that gets in his way. The sooner you just accept it, and the sooner that Denny accepts it, the happier everybody's going to be. Okay, he's like Shooter McGavin. He's not winning anything. But, okay, he's much like his sponsor, maybe you could even say. He only delivers when it's not a clutch moment like the holiday season or championships. I don't know. But, all right, jokes aside, let's get into the news because we've dragged on long enough with the race recap. Callum Illott and Juncos Hollander Racing have officially parted ways after it's been a dramatic 2023 season. And I know race fans are so happy about this. A lot of race fans happy about this, and I do not blame them. I'm pretty happy about this too, because this has been we were talking about RCR being a toxic work environment. Juncos has really proven to be a toxic work environment. But Juncos, oh my gosh. I feel bad for Callum needed to get out of that situation. I'm glad he did. It's nothing against Canapino. I think Canapino and his but it's his fans. His fans are just so violent and ruthless. And he deserves to be on that team. Canapino deserves to be an IndyCar. But I feel like Juncos really just didn't have Illott's back once Canapino came in. And I don't blame him for wanting out. Especially that last cyberbullying round that he took, or the death threats and all that. I'm really not shocked that he wanted out. And I think Juncos was like, look, personally, if I'm in that situation, I think I'd even be like, look, if you want out, I don't blame you. But now what's next? I actually went and asked Marshall Pruitt, if you guys follow me on Twitter. I doubt he will answer anything that I question him with, but I put the question out there that, what's next for him? What's next for Juncos Hollander? I heard Roman's name on his podcast was floated around a couple times, so maybe Roman lands the 77. There's also a possibility, I don't know, I think Connor Daly could, maybe Yuri Vips goes over there. I don't know. Maybe they have an NXT driver ready that they think could move up the ranks. I mean, I think it's just going to come down to who has funding. Maybe Errol McLaren weighs in on the next driver. I don't know, but Juncos Hollander Racing has always been kind of known to bring random drivers out of the woodworks. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them go completely out of left field by signing a random like F2 driver. I don't think it'll be Yuri Vips. No, because Yuri Vips it appears is not done at Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan, and has a contract signed with them for next season, but he's not going to be racing in IndyCar in one of their 3 seats. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but it sounds like, he's kind of a reserve driver for them, or what I'd consider a reserve driver / test driver, like development driver. So I'd imagine that's what that is, but I think Roman, if we're speaking in a perfect world, yeah, he's probably the guy. I can see that being the possibility. As far as Illott goes, unless Foyt decides to get rid of Ferrucci, which I don't think they'd be dumb enough to do, I think Illott's going to end up sitting out a year. That's really what I think is going to happen, because Rasmussen already locked up the 20, and Ed Carpenter's going to be driving the 20 a few times next year too. Unfortunately, the reality is Illott might be out of luck for next season. He may be waiting until 2025 to get a full-time shot again. I think maybe, just maybe, he ends up in like the Able Motorsports car for the Indy 500. Maybe that's a possibility. Maybe Andretti enters him in a 6th car. I don't know. Or in a 5th car. I don't know. But I would say right now his chances of running full-time out the door. Jesse Love will replace Sheldon Creed at Richard Childress Racing in 2024, and maybe for Phoenix. I just don't know. I've heard rumors that Creed might not be racing at Phoenix for him, but I don't know anymore. Good signing. Jesse Love, I wanted him to go truck racing first, to be totally honest, but maybe they think they got their next Sammy Smith, or they got the next Sammy Smith or Ty Gibbs or whatever they think they have. So they must think they have something there that other teams don't see in Jesse Love. So, but good move. I think he's a great young talent. Another win for the Chevy development driver pool. And another L for Toyota, because Toyota's got nothing now but Chandler Smith and Sheldon Creed, according to Austin Hill. This one's the big one, and I do want to spend a little time on this before we wrap things up. Might run a little long today, guys. I do apologize, but these are stories that need to get out. Almirola is stepping back from full-time racing in 2024, and as a result, while many thought Smithfield would stick around because the contract said with the right driver or with their driver choice they will stay at Stewart-Haas, Smithfield announces they are leaving NASCAR at the conclusion of Phoenix in 2023. Another big loss for Stewart-Haas Racing, not just driver-wise but sponsor-wise. That's a pretty big loss. They already lost Busch Beer, so now their only main sponsors are Mahindra, Haas CNC, and United Rentals. It's not a good look. if you're on the SHR team there. It is not a good look going forward. This has, to me, if the charters stay beyond 2024, this has downsizing written all over it. Because we know Hunt Brothers will still back Ryan Preece. I'm pretty sure they got a deal with Ryan Preece. United Rentals and Haas, Haas is going to be backing a lot of cars next year. Like Haas CNC and machinery and all that, they're going to be backing quite a bit of the SHR entries unless there's some big announcement coming sponsor-wise that I don't know about. But these are two big losses in a time where teams are trying to develop the next gen. It's not a good look. I'd say the future's pretty bleak. If you're a Stewart-Haas racing fan, it is pretty bleak. Not just that, but I mean, Busch Beer going to Trackhouse. I mean, Spire just got Gainbridge and Andretti backing. It's not looking good. This should raise an alarm. Now, as far as driver replacements for Almirola, I've heard rumors that Cole Custer could be back on the move to the Cup side. I know Gene Haas wants him back in the Cup Series, and again, I state this even though I'm sure the news this week or before this episode is released, because that's just how things work. I'm sure there will be news that, AJ Allmendinger got demoted to Xfinity, but besides that, no driver gets demoted from their team's Cup program to their team's Xfinity program. I've never seen it, and I've never seen a driver get promoted back to their Cup program. Just silver spoon written all over this guy. Now again, he's a good driver. He's proven it in Xfinity, but he is not anything better than a mid-Cup driver. He has proven nothing. I've heard Gene wants him back in Cup. Stewart does not, so I know they've been in disagreements about Cole Custer's future with the program or with the team. But I know his name's been floated. I don't know how seriously this one's been floated around, but I heard Brett Moffitt as a possibility for 2024. Of course, he'd need some backing himself, and I just don't think he has that. Burton's name was floated a few times. Burton has backing, but he's re-upped with Wood Brothers. And now I've heard Noah Gragson's name floated. Now, Noah Gragson, if the sponsors did not leave, okay, if his sponsors stick by his side, he's got backing. Okay, he's got backing from Wendy's. He's got backing from Black Rifle Coffee, Bass Pro. I'm sure they still back him, even though they've got enough invested with Austin Dillon and Martin Truex. But again, I mean, those three sponsors have backed him for the last few years, and unless they strayed away, I don't see there being any reason. And Stewart could feel like maybe this is the guy he's missing, because, he missed the Kyle Larson sweepstakes, he missed the Kyle Busch sweepstakes, and he missed a few other sweepstakes along the way. So maybe this is his way of saying, I'm not missing this one. And Gragson at Haas, again, I mean, if he's sticking with the drivers with talent only, no money drivers, maybe this is the guy they need. I mean, Ryan Preece is going to be the leader, or Chase Briscoe is going to be the leader of this team next year. And it's not exactly a good look when the leader of your team is 32nd in the points. So again, we'll see. You know, I'm sure we'll get an announcement very soon, but we are at the red line here. So let's go to our picks. Truck Series at Phoenix. I'm picking the champion and might as well just include him as the race winner. Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes for the trucks. He's finished podium there the last 2 years. Second last year, third the year before when he won the title. I think he's going to find first this time. That Thor Sport team is just so good at Phoenix. They've had a rough year, but I think Ben Rhodes has a knack for that track, and he will find a way to get to victory lane. Xfinity Series at Phoenix. It's been a Toyota-dominated racetrack, mainly for Joe Gibbs. So I'm going to say John Hunter. He's going to get the third straight championship for Joe Gibbs Racing, and he's going to get the win at Phoenix. Now, Cup Series at Phoenix, this one was a tough prediction because, again, it is Blaney, Larson, Byron. Yeah, Blaney, Larson, Byron. I'm forgetting someone else, and Bell. And it's just so tough because Larson's good there. He's proven it. I believe he won there in the spring. But Blaney was so good there last year in the fall. Blaney almost upset the championship 4 guys. So I'm not ruling Blaney out. Blaney's still, but I'm not ruling Larson out either. Bell is gonna, Bell's got a good pit crew, I think, now. And Bell came close last year as well. Yeah, and Byron's just been hot. Byron's not let up this entire playoffs. But I'm picking Ryan Blaney because of last year. It would not shock me to see Kyle Larson get his second title, but I think it's going to be Blaney's year. I think he's going to get the win and the championship at Phoenix. So there we go. That's the picks. We want to thank you guys for watching a little bit longer of an episode than we normally have. We have one more episode this season, and it will be next Tuesday. After that, we say goodbye to 2023's racing season. And until then, goodbye, everyone.